If this class has taught me anything, it's that I have forgotten way more reality shows than I remember. I was actually a fan of Policewomen of Broward County, but then had no memory of it until I read about it again in this article. It was, I know I say this all the time, an interesting show. I didn't like it as much as Cops, but I did watch it, and I watched some of its spin-offs, and I didn't think about it in the terms that Cox is discussing, but I think they're worth thinking about. So the policewomen of Broward County followed the lives of sheriff deputies on and off duty, which is way more than you would see on Cops. This show, Cox refers to as a contemporary version of Cops. Not very much on Cops deals with the personal lives of the police officers. They'll often narrate at the beginning of a segment why they became a police officer or what they do in their free time. But this show in particular, as you'll see in clips later, actually follows them in their real lives. The only time I've seen Cops address sort of real lives of police officers was in a VHS tape called Cops Too Hot for TV. But ultimately, Cops never focuses on the real lives of police officers, male or female. This show in particular deals entirely with female police officers, which is different than Cops, which deals with both men and women. Um, Cox is applying feminist theory and research on police programming and reality TV uh, to this particular article and argument. What's different about this show is that the lead are women in a traditionally male-oriented career of being a police officer. Now, there are plenty of female police officers in real life and on TV, but to have a whole show centered around female police officers is relatively unusual. Um, the show features women who transgress stereotypical gender norms. So, stereotypical gender norms around police work usually involve men, though, again, there are plenty of female police women. However, the show, in the end, does more to reassert hegemonic meaning about gender and femininity than it does to undercut it, which is interesting in a show centered entirely around women. If you're curious where Broward County is, obviously it's in Florida. You can see it there on the map, both on the left and on the right. Interestingly, my grandparents used to live in Broward County. They used to live in a place way south in Broward County called Hollandale, and then they moved to Hollywood, which is where they lived until they passed away. My wife and I went to go visit them right after we got married. They were too old to come to our wedding, and they had moved to Hollywood at the time. So we went to Hollywood to see them, hung out with them, and then went to the Hollywood casino where we went and played poker. My wife won, I did not, and we were very excited. Side note about the Hollywood casino, same casino where Anna Nicole Smith died, which was after we were there, not while we were there playing poker. So the clips that are going to follow are, one is a sort of general clip from the show, and then the other shows how much emphasis the show places on the personal lives of some of these police officers.